Hi everyone. Moving into to week 4. I always record these on Tuesday afternoon, right before the beginning of our next week, which will be like I said, week 4 for us. And it's hard to believe that at the end of week 4 we'll already be on June 16th and over halfway through the class. So I'm kind of excited and anxious all at the same time. And when I woke up today, we had in Colorado snow and rain, which was kind of hard to believe because yesterday I was literally sweating hiking with my kids, and today I'm bundled up having a discussion with you. So things can change at any moment, but I am hopeful that the sun will come back and we'll have a lot of fun getting outside the rest of this week. As we kind of move on. So I'm going to just be hopeful for that and hopeful for a great week for us in class as well. This week, week 4, will be a little bit about building on some of the concepts that we had talked about. You'll have your third writing assignment and the discussion board. The discussion board this week will be about trust, which we really kind of hinted at last week when we started to discuss the privacy and security of our personal data and how we expect others to value that the way we do on a personal level, and whether that is synonymous with how our information is utilized. So this week it'll be a greater discussion about trust in a larger scope. So that'll be what we talk about this week on the discussion board. So I think it'll be interesting, especially in the cultural climate that we have. Trust is not only something we talk about in the business world, but in general. So very, very timely topic. So that will be going over trust, like I said, on the discussion. Now, sorry, I have some notes here. What we'll talk about this week in the reading content are the influencers, the influencer market. And I talked about this in this class briefly, but in some of your other marketing classes, I'm sure you have talked about the great power of word of mouth in terms of influence on a purchase decision. Word of mouth always seems to have a larger influence, especially when the the source of the information is trusted. So if it's, for instance, someone you personally know, that's always extremely powerful in your purchase decisions. If it's somebody that you know, value, and you think reflects your own preferences in terms of the purchases you might make, that will be extremely powerful. But things have evolved over the last couple of decades to expand that word of mouth concept to a digital format. I mean, some businesses even develop their strategy based on providing word of mouth through reviews and recommendations and giving their own personal experience with products or services. So we'll talk about how that has shifted in a digital platform. And then what can companies learn from those influencers? How do social networks play into this concept? And then discuss further how that reflects loyalty. And like I said, loyalty will be another topic for this week. And can you create loyalty without a loyalty program? Is a loyalty program necessary in order to sustain loyalty with your customers? One topic that I know I've mentioned a few times just because I really enjoy the idea of customer satisfaction versus delight. And in your readings this week, you'll read through a little passage that shows that research states that customers who have shifted from one brand to another, 60% of those said that they were satisfied with their previous brand, but were not necessarily loyal to them. So satisfaction is not a gateway to loyalty. Satisfaction is I am doing what I need in order for them to not be dissatisfied. In order to really create a long-lasting concept of loyalty, there has to be some kind of delight factor, and that can come in different ways. And one of the most surprising ways is taking a situation where a customer is dissatisfied and making that a more powerful loyalty opportunity through delight. So think about, for instance, I will just give you an example because it just happened to me. You know, we have a local business who does our pest control, and we haven't lived here for very long, so we were not loyal to any particular company. They came out, their technician did an okay job, left 30 minutes. Everything seemed fine, but a few weeks later, I noticed that we would see a spider or something like that in our basement, and I was like, we just had this done. So I called. Apparently that technician had been let go. They didn't think it was, adequate service for us. And without me trying, the owner himself came out and redid my entire property free of charge, and said that he hoped that he could continue business with me. So at the beginning, I was probably going to switch. I called to just let them know that I was having this problem. I did not anticipate that they would come out, and especially the owner himself, to rectify that situation. So it took a position where I was likely to tell friends and family that I know here, I wouldn't really go with that company. I'm not sure if they are going to do the job that you expect. We had a bad experience. Probably would have been what I had said. But making the effort to call, communicate with them what my problem was, and then have them not only rectify it, but the owner himself, to make sure that he put himself in my vision, and that he would take care of everything. If I had any problems, they were going to do it. I thought that was great. And so now I have signed a contract to continue on with them on a quarterly basis. So I've become an automatic loyal customer, which we've talked about in the discussion boards. Some of you have talked about this and in your papers and things like that, that there is a new subscription trend for companies to develop loyalty where the customer doesn't have to think about it anymore. So I'm not going to call him every quarter. I've already said, call me every quarter and schedule my appointment. I'm no longer having to do the active part in loyalty. They are taking control of that component for me. And you'll see a lot of companies that want you to purchase a subscription or a membership or something like that, that really helps them kind of drive the loyalty car or loyalty bus, so to speak, rather than you having to do the active component of that. So that was just an example, and I'm sure all of you can think of an example where you were dissatisfied and somebody made you feel delighted, and in fact, what you probably never would have talked about with another person became a good experience that reached that delight level. So at the risk of taking too long talking to you guys about this week, I will let it go there and just kind of have this conversation further on the discussion boards. If you have any questions, just let me know. I will do my absolute best to get back to you as soon as possible. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you in class.